Hello everyone, my name is Miranda and welcome to Book Talk, where today I will be reviewing the third and penultimate book in the Lunar Chronicle series, Cress by Marissa Meyer. And now if you haven't read any of the Lunar Chronicles, you're probably not going to want to watch this video because you'll be very confused. But if you've read both Sydnor and Scarlett, you should be good to go until I tell you that the spoiler section is coming. Got it? Now, like I said, this is the third and second to last book in the Lunar Chronicle series, and by now I expect this series to absolutely wow me, knock me down on the floor, enthrall me, make it so I never ever want to put the book down. And sadly, that was just not the case with Cress. This series has never been one of my favorites. I've always given it like 4 stars on Goodreads. I thought Sydnor was okay, but then I felt Scarlett was a really good addition to the series, and I was really excited to see where Cress goes because, I mean, look how gorgeous the cover is. Like, I just want to, like, take it with me to the bedroir and never let go because it's just so beautiful, and the story behind it is absolutely just so amazing. As you know, each story takes on a different fairy tale. Sydnor was Cinderella, Scarlett was Little Red Riding Hood, and now Cress is Rapunzel. And I was so interested in seeing how the Rapunzel myth was put in because, not gonna lie, Tangled is one of my favorite movies ever, and I was so excited to see what Marissa Meyer did with her in the series. And then it was just... First off, I did not like Cress at all. As you can tell from the title and the cover, this book is about Cress. We get tons and tons of chapters in her point of view. Her whole deal is she is lunar, and she is a genius hacker who has been trapped in this tower, aka her satellite, for 7 years. She has long hair, she's all by herself in solitude, hence Rapunzel. But oh my gosh, I just did not like her character. She had this stalkerish thing going on with Thorn, and I'm gonna be honest, this was not completely her fault because I've always liked Thorn with Sydnor and not that boring as paint drawing on the wall Kai. And the fact that they aren't gonna get together because this book made it kind of obvious that Thorn and Sydnor are not the OTP that's happening makes me very upset. I just did not like Cress's whole deal, and she seemed so whiny. She seemed like the princesses from like the 1900s when the girl needed the knight in shining armor to rescue her, and she was just so like awkwardly obsessed with him, and I thought she'd get over it, but no, the entire series she was just like, I love you, you're such a hero, blah blah blah. And I was like, no, he's gonna be with Sydnor, so shut your mouth and go and hack. And then the other thing that really annoyed me was our whole group being together, and by group I mean Sydnor, Wolf, Scarlett, Thorn, and now Cress. They had this brilliant plan to stop Queen Levana, and by brilliant I mean it was literally the dumbest thing I have ever heard in my life. I literally had to put the book down at points because I was getting so irritated by them. I was like, you guys are smart. Don't act like a 5-year-old who just came up with this plan in 30 seconds. Their whole plan in the beginning was that to stop the wedding and ruin Queen Levana, they were going to go into the wedding somehow, sneak in, I don't know, and then they were just going to announce to the world that Sydnor was really Princess Celine, and everyone would be like, that's cool. Everyone would believe that. Queen Levana wouldn't go crazy or anything. And when the doctor pointed out after, Dr. Erland, I think his name is, when he was like, yeah, that's the dumbest plan I've ever heard in my life, I was just like, thank you, man. I've never really liked the action sequences. There's just something about them I can't picture in my mind, and this book was exactly how the other two have been. The action sequences are just slow, and they don't work in my mind. And I know people love this series. Even when I went to check it out from the library, the librarian was like,
oh my gosh, I just read this book, you're gonna love it so much, it's so much better than Scarlett. I didn't like Scarlett, and I was like, I actually kind of like Scarlett, but okay, if you're saying Cress is good, then it must be fantastic.
And then I read it and I was just like, oh, this is literally the worst one in the series for me. And that doesn't mean that it's bad by any means, because the series is really great. It takes a little getting used to, and it took me like maybe 20 pages to just like situate myself in the world again because there's a lot going on. But once I did that, I mean, it's a good story. It's just not the 5-star thing I'm hoping for, and I can't believe that this is going to be done in one more book. Like, I almost feel like Marissa Meyer could put out 2 more books at least. So I'm anxious to see about that. Unfortunately, the next book, Winter, is not going to come out for probably another year. And I'm really anxious to see what happens. Really excited to see what happens with everyone. So overall, I would give the book about 3.5 stars. It just was the worst one in the series for me so far. Like I said, it was just boring. I was putting it down at points. I didn't like Cress's character at all. But if you haven't actually read Cress yet, I don't want to spoil anything for you because, like I said, it is a pretty interesting read. And if you've started the series, you should definitely read Cress. So if you haven't checked it out yet, go do that now. Go read it and then come back after because the spoilers are coming. Dun dun dun. Alright, on to my favorite part, the spoilers. Like I said before, Cress's character made me want to gouge my eyeballs out. Oh my gosh. Every time I got to her point of view, I was like, let's just get past Cress's point of view. The only good part about Cress's storyline was her whole twist with Dr. Earland, I believe is how you say his name. Did not see that coming at all. I haven't read Scarlett, obviously, in over a year, so it took me a little while to remember, but I now remember that, yes, we got a mention, I think, in the first book of his daughter who was a shell, who he thought was killed, but then it turned out to be Cress, and we thought we were going to have this nice little reunion moment, and no, he contracted the new lumatosis plague and is dying now, and was like, hey, Sydnor, I'm your dad, now you gotta leave me here on Earth to die. Oops. And then Sydnor in the series, she was, I don't know, she was kind of second fiddle to Cress. I felt like we really got to see more of her character in this one and how she's dealing with being Princess Selene. And she has all these fears about how she's going to become exactly like Queen Leviana. When she tortured Sybil, that, oh my gosh, that was horrifying to me. On one hand, I was like, yeah, go Sydnor, you stand up to her. And on the other hand, it was like, she was literally falling apart because that's exactly what Queen Leviana does, and she wants to avoid becoming Queen Leviana at all costs. And I think what Kai said to her at the end is really going to stick with her and help her, how he's like, you don't have to be their leader, you can be their revolutionary. And I think that is really going to help her, and I think having Kai with her is really going to help her. Sydnor and Kai, I've never really liked their relationship, but their relationship in this book was really, really cute, and it was actually the first time that Kai hasn't made me like want to just like fall asleep when I'm reading him. We had some chapters from his point of view, and I really like those, like seeing into his mind. I love his little scene with Sydnor at the end, and then his kiss with Sydnor, just so cute. So I'm actually really excited now to see where their relationship is going to go now that they're together and heading to what I can only assume is going to be Luna. I'm disappointed that the same didn't happen for Cress and Thorn, because throughout the entire thing I just could not get a feel for their relationship. It was creepy to me. It was stalkerish on Cress's point of view. Thorn could have chemistry with anyone. He could have chemistry with that fan over there, and I would ship it more than I ship him and Cress. So I did not like that storyline at all, and unfortunately that was a majority of the book. My favorite character in this series, well, one of my most favorite characters, is Scarlett. She's my favorite 3 out of all the princess type characters that we've read, and unfortunately she was only in like 20 pages of this book. She got kidnapped, obviously, and I thought that would be a really like cool storyline, like we could finally see Luna, but really we just got the same old torture tactics. The only thing good that really came out of her storyline was we got our first sneak peek at Princess Winter, who we all know is going to be the character in the 4th book. It's called Winter. She's based on Snow White, and she already seems like such an interesting character. When I first read her, I was like, I can't get a feel on this girl. She just seemed cuckoo bananas. And then at the end, she told Scarlett that she hasn't been using her glamour like the other Lunars, and that's why she's going crazy, because when you don't use your glamour, it makes you go crazy. So I feel like she's going to be a really interesting character, and her whole premonition about the bleeding walls and how it's going to bleed the people out of Lunar, I was like, I don't, she's crazy, but I feel like there's a real reality to her craziness. Unfortunately, with Scarlett gone, that meant that her little buddy Wolf, who I kind of tolerated in Scarlett, he annoyed me so much in this book. Every single time there was a fight, every single time, he would get turned into a weapon and be used against Sydnor. First time I was like, oh, this is what, Wolf, what? And then the second time, I threw the book down. I was like, what are you doing? I was like, no, Wolf, I can't deal with this. It was frustrating me so much. He just served no purpose for me in this book at all, and I felt bad for him with Scarlett, but it was seriously like, why are you even fighting a battle if you can be used so easily, like, ugh. Thankfully, Thorn saved this book for me because while I did not like his whole thing with Cress, and I felt it was very forced upon us with his whole injury to his eyes, how he couldn't see, his personality was still 110% intact. We finally got to see why everyone has been saying Thorn is like this great military leader and all that, because we've heard about it before, but we hadn't really seen it, and seeing him in action with Cress was so awesome. I'm excited to see how they get Scarlett back, and I'm excited to see where the series goes, but I'm also confused. I hope that because it's gonna be Princess Winter's story and it is the last book in the series, unless for some reason that I have not heard Marissa Meyer decide to add more, but I'm hoping that because the focus is not going to be on Cress, we'll have a lot less of Cress's point of view, kind of like we did with Scarlett in this one, because she is just such a one-dimensional character to me. I feel like she doesn't learn from her mistakes. She just is so obsessed with Thorn, and that was such like a big part of her character that I could not get over it to focus on the other things. I feel like she was just such a droll and boring character, just not drawn out at all, because like I said, Kai actually ended up growing on me in this book. I actually kind of liked him. Before I just found him like boring and just there to be the romantic lead, but I feel like he's actually going to serve a function in the next book, which unfortunately means that Thorn is going to be kicked out of the picture and will probably end up with Cress, but I don't want him to end up with Cress, because even if like this whole book was like supposed to be how like he really ended up falling for her, I did not get that at the end. Like sure they had that kiss, but it was just, I did not get their relationship at all. Like I said, I would give this book 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was such a disappointment to me. I expected so much more, and I thought Cress was going to be such this compelling, badass character, and she was just like the complete opposite. So if you've read the book, tell me what you thought. Did you like Cress? Did you not like Cress? What do you think of her whole relationship with Thorn? Because I am 110% against this. I just feel like it's not Thorn that doesn't deserve Cress, it's Cress that doesn't deserve Thorn. Thorn needs someone who is like, can put up with his BS, and I feel like she would just be like, It would just get so annoying after a while, and it did get annoying when she was just like, he's so handsome. I was like, get over yourself. So tell me what you thought of the book. Tell me what your predictions are for the next book, which I know I keep saying it, but I still can't believe it's going to be the last book. It just seems so weird to me. I can't wait to see how it ends. I can't wait to see what Princess Winter is going to be like. So tell me everything down below, and please subscribe to my channel. Tell everyone you know to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!